Welcome back to Nara Promotions, the real deal podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, menacing Mellisa is on our doorsteps. This is going to be one of the historic events that will shape the future or reshape the future of Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean that it hits. Menacing Mellisa is at our doorsteps, ladies and gentlemen. 150 miles per hour winds are forecasted for the country of Jamaica. It's going to be a big, big deal. A massive deal. Something to be reckoned with. Goodness gracious me. Pray when you're going out. Pray when you're coming in. And also remember, God is in control. Welcome back to Nara Promotions, the Real Deal Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, what a night it is. What a night it is. I do hope that each and every one of you who are in the path of this mega storm, I hope that you have already made your preparations. The winds and rains have started in the eastern section of the island, and it's going to get worse. Batten down. Secure your provisions and make sure that your family is safe. Help those who cannot help themselves and also be benevolent. This is not the time to think about it. It's a time for action. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big, big deal. So I'm going to give you some videos that have been circulating. I'm going to touch on some meteorologists that have been giving the it's difficult to even find the words to tell you what is coming. It's not good. It's not looking good. It's definitely not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got to say this, that if you have been under a rock for the last, then you got to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. So I do hope that each and every one of you have your candles, you've charged up your phones and your battery packs. I hope that you have gas. If you have a car, you secure them. You've battened down the doors and windows, and also strapped down the roofs, because in some cases I've been told that, this is gonna be it's not gonna be looking real good for a lot of people. So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, please try to do your best. Do what you can, because this is not going to be one of those events that you're gonna say to yourself, okay, it will pass and it's okay. No, it will pass, but it's going to create a lot of damage. Based on what we're seeing here, I've been told that the media is now in Jamaica, and I've also been getting calls from the eastern end of the island. So the rains have started there, and it's been pummeling the east, and it's working its way around. So I'm gonna send out a link to a brother of mine in South Central Jamaica, and I hope that I can get him on the air live to tell you what's going on in the south central of Jamaica. So let's see. Let me get that out to him and see what happens. So we're going to tell him to get on the air live. So Dane, get on the link, join the link so I can hear and see what's going on in Sea Air District in Manchester. And I'm going to ask those who have are listening right now to call in or send me a link or some videos or something. Just send me a message so I can get back to you and send you the link so you can come on the air live. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just put the numbers that you can contact me on, so that if you need to send a message out and you can't get in touch with your significant other or your loved ones or your family, you can always contact me. I hope my family in Northern Clarendon are okay. Janet, in Roden Hall. Janet, I hope you're good. You know what I mean? So batten down and keep the link. You know what I mean? So all my family down across the island of Jamaica, I hope all is good. So just keep safe and keep praying because this one is a big one. It's a massive, massive hurricane, and I've been told that the supermarket shelves are empty. You know, so a lot of people ran out there last minute, got their stuff, and some people were not able to get their money transfers because some of the outlets closed up early. I guess they went home to batten up and get ready for the hurricane. But it's sad that these people were not able to get their money so they can get their supplies because some things happen last minute. Things happen. But I'm urging those who have extra or they can spare something for those people who are not able to get ready because they did not get their funds in time because some of the outlets like um, Paymaster and MoneyGram and all those places, Western Union, some of those places closed early because the staff had to go home and get ready for the hurricane. Um, so if you can help those who did not get through, please, ladies and gentlemen, please do so. It's a tough world we're living in, and this is a catastrophic event, and it's slated to hit directly in Jamaica. It's going to hit. It's bullseye, we call it, and this is not the time to discriminate. You know what I mean? So each one help one. And I'm going to get the latest weather report on our screen. So I'm working in real time this time, ladies and gentlemen. And we're here live for you. And I hope that I can be of service to some of the people who are not able to who are not able who need it. Sorry, if they need this my service to reach out to somebody or whatever I can do to help, whether it's in Jamaica, um, the Dominican Republic, or Haiti, whatever I can do, I will do it from my end and help out those who cannot help themselves. But it is a catastrophic event, and this is only going to get worse over the next few days. And what we've been told is that this is going to meander around Jamaica for a few days. So, whoa, this is not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm here for you. I'm rooting and I'm praying that each and every one will survive this. I want to also reach out to Courtney and Pauline Lawrence. I'm sending out my prayers to them. They lost their daughters over 48 hours ago, and it's not a good look. You know what I mean? So I say, God bless you both, and you're all in our prayers. You know, so it's I know the feeling. It's not a good feeling. I still haven't gotten over losing my first child, but um, this is fresh for you, and it will take a while to cope with it. And we're saying we're here for you. So reach out to me. We can always talk, and I'll give you some advice there and some comfort. But pray. Prayer helps. You know what I mean? God is always standing by. You know, that we have to lean on Christ. And that's the best way to get rid of that pain. And also, Mr. Kitson, also of the JDF, just like Courtney Lawrence, that's Big I. Big I lost his daughter and his wife. Lost both Courtney and Pauline lost their daughter, and Courtney was part of the JDF Air Wing, and also Mr. Kitson of the JDF. They are all former members, and he lost his mom, and that's a surreal moment, you know. So our prayers are with you. However, ladies and gentlemen, I want each and every one of you to keep safe. Be Make sure if you're in low-lying areas, especially those in the Alligator Pond area, and along the southern coast, you know, go to higher ground. The storm surge is going to be massive. You know, the water content. I mean, this is going to be a, a flooding event. So if you're in low-lying areas, as the good meteorologist says, you know, run from the water, but you must hide from the wind. So in some database from the some meteorologists, they are saying that in instances you can get up to 200 miles per hour wind. They're going to have winds over 100 miles an hour sustained for a very long time. The rain content is going to be more than a foot, and that's going to be over a very long time, a few days. So it's going to be meandering around for some time. So you don't want to be caught holding the bag here, you know, caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's gonna happen. So I've heard that the media, like Fox News and other major news outlets, they're already on the island of Jamaica, and they're getting ready to cover the event because it's going to be catastrophic. You know, Fox is already streaming down there and bringing reports because Kingston is inundated with rain, and other news outlets are doing their thing. So it is a big deal when you see major news outlets are coming to the island, and they're saying to you, hey, so they're saying to you, you know, this is going to be a big deal. We're looking at Cat 5. They're saying also that there's a possibility that this will be a much more destructive than Hurricane Gilbert. Wow. So let me kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. This is not something to joke about. Don't go out there and take any chances. Batten down. Strap down those roofs. Protect your vehicle. Make sure you have extra gas. For some parts of the island, you have a small window tomorrow to make sure that you've completed all your preparations. For those who are running late, a lot of people are running back home from various parts of the world and on the island. They're coming back from different parishes, they're helping other people, and they're trying to get their preparations in order. However, I'm saying to you, get it done. Get it done now. Lock it down, because this is not going to be something to mess about with. So let me let the meteorologist tell you what's going on, and then I'll come back in and chime in. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
October 25th, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. We're into the evening now. Additional videos to come. If you subscribe, you'll get the first alerts for the next videos. And I will put out videos in the middle of the night, early in the morning, whenever need be with this. This is going to be a destructive hurricane. It is coming our way. The news has not been better as we've gone through the day. This is already impacting Haiti. We know that. Parts of the DR. It is headed right toward Jamaica. High likelihood of a direct hit as this moves in. So we're going to see a direct hit from what looks to be a major hurricane, Category 3, Category 4, Category 5. It is coming in. There's nothing that's really going to shift it big one way or another. With that, the heavy rain band's already starting for some of us. Others, like I said, it's kind of like what storm? Nothing's coming yet. It's going to be a while as this gradually progresses. The unfortunate thing is how slow it is moving, and of course how powerful it is going to get. So we need to get to those safe locations. Eastern sections of Jamaica. You want to get in those safe locations where you're going to ride out the storm sooner than later, if you could do that tonight, or at the very latest, the first thing for tomorrow, because the conditions are only going to get worse. And then western zones will be getting into our safe spots as we get into tomorrow as well. Of course, if local officials are trying to shift people away from areas, they have reason to do so. Listen to local officials and, of course, friends, family that have gone through systems before. This one could be the biggest. It looks to be one of the biggest hurricanes, if not the strongest, to hit Jamaica, at least on record. So again, thank you for helping others get to safety. Now, as this moves in, we're looking at it strengthening further into that major hurricane. What does that mean? Well, that does mean weaker structures. There would be complete structure failure. That would mean weaker homes that are built weaker or older could collapse in the eye wall where this comes on shore. Windows, doors can be blown out in these scenarios. We've seen that in storms. We've seen that in Beryl. So again, we've had recent history of these storms doing that. As this rapidly intensifies and moves in. As far as roofs go, we could have 80% of Jamaica homes with roof damage, and that's what I've seen in historical storms, and I've seen in scenarios like this, and where at least half could have a complete roof failure. So that's why I mentioned getting into those safe locations. Those are the things we could do right now. This is a lot of scary stuff, no doubt, but this is coming our way. And before this fully gets here, we could do these things, help each other, get to some safe locations best we can, and ride out this storm. Power will be out for weeks, potentially longer, especially if this turns out to be a Category 5. Roads will be washed away with a significant rain. We're going to see mudslides in spots. We've been highlighting this together for days and days, and that means some communities will be isolated. It will be difficult to get in touch with some loved ones as we go forward with this, as the power goes out, and then communities kind of get cut off if we have roads that kind of get washed away. We've been seeing that in southern parts of Haiti with the very heavy rain. So again, seeking the safest spot possible. That is the best thing to do. And these storms are very scary. We know about that, right? So with that, it is always better to do it with others if you can. Think of others that may be alone in this. And recovery in these storms will take a while. Jamaica bounces back, no doubt, a very resilient country, but it may take a while with a system like this that will be moving in, and so very powerful. And again, we'll watch out for the changes and continue. You know me, hope for the best. We hope we get some good changes, but as of now, this is moving our way as a powerful hurricane in slowly. That means very high rain totals. I want to show you that. The inland flooding, the coastal flooding with the surge, and then we'll cover what happens next as well. This is going to start to impact us in spots of Jamaica tonight. I'll show you that specifically. We'll go day by day in this video, and then it just gets worse through Monday into Tuesday. That's how long this is going to take. Then Wednesday, this will be giving us hurricane impacts as we swing back toward eastern Cuba, and then in the southeastern sections of the Bahamas and even the Turks and Caicos, tropical storm to hurricane conditions as this continues to work its way back into the Atlantic. With that, with this up and around pattern that continues to filter in the heavy and the life-threatening rain for parts of the Dominican Republic, but especially Haiti. And again, right along the peninsula, where we're going to see conditions get even worse over the next 24 hours. Jacmel back toward the west. That's where the worst weather and rock slides and flooding are going to be. We have teams on the ground that continue to get the word out. Hopefully folks are in safe spots as we go forward. Jamaica, we have that small window now. The window's pretty much closed as far as getting ready, but if you can get to your safe spot, that would be the best thing to do as this moves in. All indications are that this is a major hurricane. Because it's moving so slowly, it's going to feed off the water. It will become that major hurricane with winds of at least 130 miles per hour. It is going to grow in size. We're looking at this becoming about 645 kilometers wide, so that's about 400 miles wide. Now that's how big it will be. It's going to be a large system. The hurricane winds won't extend out as far, but the hurricane winds could extend for the entirety of Jamaica, especially if this comes right up through the middle. Then this will work its way over toward eastern Cuba and then make its way toward the Bahamas and near the Turks and Caicos. And I'll keep an eye on Bermuda down the road. I've got everyone covered. I track storms from start to finish on this channel. So we'll be doing that with this. Now let's get into tonight. As this hurricane continues to intensify, we're going to see those rain bands working in, especially in our eastern sections. This here covers the winds, and then I'll get to the rain. Now, as I mentioned, some of us tonight, what storm? Not a whole lot's going on. Falmouth, watching over toward Montego Bay south as well. Black River, watching again just a breeze that is around. Heavier action starts to pick up right near the bay, swinging back toward Kingston, over toward Milk River. That's where we're going to continue to see tonight some of those heavier bands moving in, with some winds starting to get to tropical storm force about 50 miles per hour. Then tomorrow, we're going to see this hurricane getting close and stronger. It's not moving in yet. I mentioned that long haul. Some of us tomorrow, Montego Bay, for example, winds of about 40 miles per hour. Starts to pick up over toward Black River. Black River will be a high concern, that entire area, for storm surge and inland flooding, which I'll show you in just a minute. And then those winds, hurricane force winds, will be starting to kind of batter the coast as we work our way into our southeastern sections first in Jamaica as we go throughout our Sunday. Winds could hit about 80 miles per hour. Some of the gusts could be even higher, especially later in the day. That's why a big difference. That's why we need to be in our safe spots very soon in eastern sections of Jamaica. And then as we work forward, we'll see the conditions spreading for the rest of us. Then on Monday, this thing should be a Category 3. Category 4, I hope not a Category 5, but it could be close to a Category 5 hurricane. And then as of now, it looks to move right in. All indications, all models now show it coming through the central sections of Jamaica. I was looking a little earlier, maybe a little bit more to the east, but this would come through central sections. Now, you heard me mention how wide this is. If this comes in over central sections, anywhere from our western or far western zones all the way to the east on Monday, especially late on Monday, would eventually get the hurricane force winds. Once it moves in, I'll show you Monday night in just a second. Falmouth back toward Montego Bay. You can see these winds, 150 miles per hour. There'll be some higher gust in that. That will give us the structure damage, of course, the tree damage. And on top of this, we are dealing with the rain Monday, but again, still gradually. Monday early on, northwestern sections may not have a ton. We'll have the rain, but as far as winds, maybe not a whole lot yet. Then Monday night into early Tuesday, that's when the core of this moves in right on top of us. Maybe it's a little bit more over here. Maybe it's a little bit more over here. So I will adjust this map accordingly if we could keep power together and you could still see me. But I appreciate you getting the word out about this, because this looks like as a whole, it is going to hold. So before power goes out, if you could share the link, just get it out there to everyone so they have the proper information about this and about what's going to happen. And it does help during a storm because it is scary, but remember that I gave you the heads up on kind of what's going to happen. It's going to be noisy if you haven't been through this. The winds are really going to be howling, kind of sounds like a train as we work our way into Monday night and early Tuesday. Overnight, a very, very long night, and you see all of the winds still prolonged. South coast, 150 miles per hour. A little bit more to the east, about 120 miles per hour. Black River swinging off to the west, I should say, off to the west here. To the north, still, if this comes right up into central sections of Jamaica, that means over toward Montego Bay, we could have winds of 100 miles per hour. But Kingston looks to be taking on the brunt of the storm surge. I'll show you that in just a second. And then the north coast as well. This comes right in, while the mountains typically help kind of chew apart a storm. This will be so strong. By the time it comes in, the winds are still going to be 140 miles per hour as this comes in over toward St. Anne's Bay. That'll be a possibility. With those higher gusts, the mountains will help Cuba. That's what it will help. It'll help to eventually weaken it a little bit, but not in time for us. It's going to be on top of us with those very strong winds. Now, as it stands now, if this comes in right through here, even very close to a Milk River north towards St. Anne's Bay, the worst side of a hurricane is, of course, near the center, right around the center where the eye is, and then it's even a little bit worse off onto the right side. So that means the extreme winds, we're looking at extreme hurricane winds in this sector that could be gusting 160 miles per hour, maybe a little bit higher near Kingston. To the north, 150 miles per hour. Those would be some of the gusts. That means severe structure damage, power loss for weeks, isolation of communities, and we have to shelter in place for days. And that's another thing, that we may be in our shelters or safe places for an extended period of time. We're going to bounce back, right? This thing's going to get out of here. There is an end in sight to this. It'll get out of here, especially as we get into later on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we'll start the recovery process. And Jamaica always bounces back. There's been significant, huge storms in the past. Charlie, Gilbert, Ivan. We had some severe impacts from Beryl last year. Jamaica always bounces back. But with that, this could be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, to move in an extreme wind zone. The problem here is, unlike some of the other storms, this one is slower. So not only do we have the extreme winds, they last for a long period of time. That means greater damage to structures, and that's why I've been mentioning those safer places best we can. On top of that, because it is a slow mover, we have the rain and huge rain amounts. Eastern sections of Jamaica, that's where they'll be worse. This is a 4-day rain total. This really takes us through the rest of today into Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday. I'll show you a slightly longer term in just a second. And then I mentioned over toward Jacmel, especially swinging toward the west in the peninsula, Haiti, in this sector here, just over 4 days, 500 to 750 millimeters of rain. That is catastrophic flooding. Where that rain falls, that means significant mudslides, extremely dangerous rivers. They will break records as far as how high they are. That's 20 to 30 inches of rain in this shading here. And of course, elsewhere around it, the totals are going to be so very high as well. Even as we get into western sections of Jamaica, we're still looking at, just for a few days, we're looking at 50 to 100 millimeters of rain, but it's going to be more than that, especially if it takes a track a little bit more right into central sections. And again, we're going to tack on even more rain Tuesday and potentially into Wednesday as well. So as we work our way into our eastern zones, it's not going to be quite, or western zones, it's not going to be quite as high, but we're going to still see intense flooding in some areas. So these are catastrophic levels of flooding. Again, central and extreme eastern sections of Jamaica, upwards of 700 millimeters of rain. And we're doing that again, extreme western areas of Haiti. Now we lift to the north, we'll get significant rain eastern end of Cuba once this moves in. However, eventually, once this gets past Jamaica, it will start to pick up forward speed. That'll be a good thing. That is a good thing for the Bahamas. That is a good thing for the Turks and Caicos, even if it moves in and right overhead, which it will eventually in the southeastern Bahamas and near the Turks and Caicos. At least at that point, it will be going faster to kind of help with the impacts. Get them in, get them out, and have less rain totals at that point. Now, this map's a little bit hard to see. I look at so much behind the scenes. I don't always show it, but I want to show you everything I have. Now, what you could do in this video, I know this map's a little bit difficult, but we see the blue. That's where inland flooding is very likely. So fortunately, this is on YouTube, and you could put a pause right now on the video and kind of take a look and maybe zoom in as well and see if you live near one of these areas. Black River, for example, here's a good sampling. where we'll get that inland flooding lifting all the way into some central locations. So you can put a pause on that if you need to, so you know if you are in a zone that simply is going to take on water. Now we're talking about the storm surge here. Speaking of water, it's not just the water falling out of the sky, it's the abnormal surge in the abnormal kind of height, if you will, of the ocean. As a hurricane moves in, there's a lift to the water. So the ocean's going to be higher, I'll put it that way, which is not a good thing. Most deaths actually happen from a hurricane, from flooding, and in particular from the storm surge. And we're going to see that across much of our southern.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you're feeling, but listening to this, it's surreal. I've been through a few hurricanes. Gilbert, for example, I was there live. I helped a lot of people during Gilbert. I know what it feels like going through Gilbert and other hurricanes after that. And I've been through major hurricanes in Florida. But this one, 400 miles wide. 400 miles. Packing winds of 150 miles an hour. Cat 3? I don't think so. Cat 4? Absolutely. Category 5? Imminent. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare. Do not take any chances. We're going to continue with this, and I'm waiting for Dane. That's one of our NARAM young members, NARAM promotions on the island of Jamaica. In Sea Air District, we call him Cutty. He's batting up. He's at his father's house right now, finishing up the last preparations. We're waiting for him to join the show. My little daughter Giovanna is down there, and she says she ain't going nowhere, Daddy. We got it covered. I said, baby, hold strong, hold strong. She decided to dress up and said, Mellisa can't do nothing. With her mom, Nikisha, they've been preparing all day. It's a big deal. We say Godspeed, God bless, and God protects. I spoke to Miss Dion Curtis. The whole family is getting ready over there in Junction, St. Elizabeth. I left a message for my good friend in Alligator Pond, and I call on all my peeps in Alligator Pond to seek higher ground. I know you've been through a lot, but this one is something this is not the one to face. Take yourself away from this one, because the water content for over 3-4 days, 5 days, flooding is imminent. Those down by river in Port Kaiser, take away yourself. Please seek higher ground. Go to a shelter that's concrete, it's sturdy, because the wind and the rain and the flooding is going to be a major I'm lost for words, ladies and gentlemen. Those in the United States, Canada, and Europe, Asia, Australia, begin to start gathering supplies. Your family and friends are going to need it in Jamaica. Definitely going to need it. This is a catastrophic event. And I'm going to be here on Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show with you to ride it out. If you need to contact Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show, please do. If you need assistance in finding someone or loved one or family member, contact us, we'll help you. Look down below. Lock in the social media and the numbers. Call us. I'm waiting for Cutty to get backstage so we can see what's going on in South Central Jamaica. But across the entire island of Jamaica, reach out to us right here on Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. We're here with you. Like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. This is a historic, major event of catastrophic proportion. Ladies and gentlemen, protect the children. Please protect the children. They don't know, but we know. I've been through a lot, but this one is big. This one is going to be bigger than it's projected to be bigger than any that I've seen in my lifetime and many others. Protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. This is not something that is going to pass over suddenly like you've seen before. Each one help one. Let's run down the list. You have a first aid kit? Did you find all the first aid kit? You have a little plastic box so you can put supplies in just in case you have to move suddenly. You can grab it. It has food, medication, and other stuff in there. Battery packs and so on. Flashlights, candles, lighters and matches. You have your backup generator ready, because electricity will be gone for days. Communications may be down for days or maybe weeks. It's going to take a very long time for things to get back to normal. Banking is going to be down for a long time. So I hope you have some cash stashed away. For those who have the little arthritis pain, I hope you have the Ray and Neville close by. And for those guys who like to light up, I hope you secure your tobaccos. Goodness gracious me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not something to, I don't want to talk about it, but I have to. It's going to be dangerous, extremely dangerous. I'm going to be covering this event every day until I deem it necessary not to. Let's get back to the meteorologist. Let's hear what he has to say. Here we go.
Southern coast all the way back to Black River. I was hoping it wouldn't be quite this far, but it looks like this may come in over our central sections. So in this area, at least 2 to 3 meters. I'll zoom down in just a second. North coast, as we swing toward Montego Bay, we're up to about 1 meter potentially of a storm surge. And as you get toward our northeastern sections, we're looking at about 1 to 1.5 meters. Same thing once you get off toward, say you get toward Westmoreland, back toward Negril, 1 to about 1.5 1.5 meters as far as kind of a lift and some additional flooding along the coast. But these are some of the areas of very high concern. Depending on how strong this gets and the exact track, these numbers could be a little bit low. So we're looking at 2 to 3 meters in through here. We get back through Kingston. That means, of course, the highway right through here that crosses the water that many are familiar with, that would basically be underwater, and then that water would just kind of filter in with that rise in the ocean. And then we swing all the way back toward Hunter's Village, where you see these brighter colors. In this scenario, these are the areas that would be underwater, right? So we're looking 2 to 3 meters of that surge. You have the waves on top of it. That's 6 to 10 feet. But again, it may be higher than that as far as the surge, especially in and around Kingston. So that surge could be very significant. We swing into our western zones, mentioned up to a meter as you get over toward Negril. With the winds around the hurricane, they are counterclockwise, so we get that big push over toward Jamaica. But on the flip side, they're coming down from this way, almost offshore over toward Westmoreland. So that does help. There'll still be a rise, but we're looking at about 3 to 5 feet, 1 to 1.5 meters as we're a little bit closer to Black River, and then less as we work our way off toward the west. So what we're doing now, again, full action. Everything you got, everything you could do to prepare for this storm. We are doing that in Jamaica. We've already done that as we worked our way towards southern sections of Haiti. Of course, we're monitoring the flooding elsewhere. When we are making those preparations now, eastern Cuba. I've been watching the comments. You've been doing a great job getting the information out to friends, family in Cuba. It's not all of Cuba. Eastern zones, that's where this will go. I don't see any scenario bringing this back towards Central America, bringing this toward the Cayman Islands or Florida, northern Bahamas. I don't see a scenario this moves in. We're going to keep a very close eye on the central Bahamas, in particular southeastern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. But at this point in these locations here, we're doing what we can to protect life and property as we go forward. Now, southeastern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, we're in monitor mode. It's not that we're not doing anything. We're reviewing the hurricane plans, kind of starting to ramp up, starting to get ready. There's going to be something right in through here, maybe a little bit more here, maybe a little bit more over here. That's what I'll fine tune over the next 2 days. And again, watching Bermuda as we go forward. All of the computer models bring this right into Jamaica. Even the American model, even some of these crazy models that have been out to lunch, everything has converged right onto Jamaica, then into eastern Cuba, and then as we go out.
So, ladies and gentlemen, breaking. Let's check this out. Let's check this other video out, and I'll get back to the meteorologist. But this happened in Jamaica earlier, and I want to share it with you. And these are early days, and it's not looking good. And this is very early. It's not even there yet. Yeah, I mean, the full brunt of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring that to the stage right now. Let's bring that up. Check this out.
All flour no, please.
I'm not too sure where this is in Jamaica, but this is early days. So set the bar right here as a base. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start the video again.
All flour no, please. All flour no, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is early days yet, and this is what is happening right now. Huh. Goodness gracious me. I don't know if you understand the magnitude of what's going on here. This is going to be a greater event than Gilbert. Gilbert flattened the whole country, and that was many, many years ago. This is set to topple that record. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to the meteorologists. Let's get back to them right now. Help those who can't help themselves. And ladies and gentlemen, please help those who don't have it, who were not able to collect their money transfers to buy their provisions or prepare for the storm. It's going to be weeks before things come to normal, or months. Could be months. Prepare yourself. Here we go.
Welcome, I'm Andrew Dimbert. The hurricane only expected to get stronger in the coming days, putting the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and parts of Jamaica on alert for potential life-threatening and catastrophic flooding. We have live TV coverage. Meteorologist Jeff Smith from our ABC station here in New York has the latest track and timing, but we begin with ABC's Ike Ajachi live in Kingston, Jamaica. Ike, you're talking with the Red Cross team there on the ground. How is everyone preparing?
Yeah, Andrew, you heard it yourself right there. Mellisa is now strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane, and it's still churning in the Caribbean as it's inching its ways towards the shores of Jamaica here, where there's a full hurricane warning. Now, it's important to note, when it does make landfall, it's expected to be a Category 4 hurricane on Sunday night or Monday morning, which could bring wind speeds in excess of 130 miles per hour. That in and of itself is forcing preparations all over the island, from government officials to residents. Now, here to talk to me about those preparations is Horace Glantz. He's the director's
Deputy
Operations Manager for the Red Cross here in Jamaica. Thank you for joining me, Horace. So what is the position right now for the Red Cross? How are you exactly preparing for the storm here on the island?
Well, right now we're in full operations mode, right? So all our 13 branches across the island have been fully activated, or all staff and volunteer have been activated since Wednesday. We have been working in the field, coordinating with the government and other humanitarian actors, so it's just all hands on deck. All systems go at this point. We continue to monitor the systems as it moves. We continue to work with our humanitarian partners in country and the government. Our federation is on full alert as well, the International Federation of Red Cross. In the region, our regional office, we have been speaking with them as early as Tuesday. In fact, our disaster response emergency fund has been activated, and what we call an imminent DREF, disaster response emergency fund, has been approved for Jamaica Red Cross, just about 14 million Jamaican dollars for this early phase of the mobilization, what we call early action and immediate response post-event.
Now, this is expected to be a massive storm, possibly one of the biggest storms to hit Jamaica here in decades. So what really are the biggest concerns when everything is starting to come together?
Sure. In fact, it is. If the forecast holds true, and we do have a Category 4 bearing upon us, this is going to be a huge event for Jamaica. We have never had such a major hurricane coming across the island, making landfall, is eye passing over us. So, the usual activities of flooding, landslides, coastal and as well as urban flooding, riverine flooding in the hillier areas is expected as normal, but certainly for an event this size, a lot more is going to be expected in terms of the quantity, the volume of water that's going to be bearing down on us. And of course, more severe winds than would have experienced in previous events.
Now, I want to talk about some of the supplies that you guys are providing to the residents here. We spoke about this just a while ago. What are some of the things that the Red Cross is providing to Jamaican residents to help them get through this storm?
Right. So as I said, we're doing some early action. We're looking in the more vulnerable communities, especially along the south and the northeast, according to the forecast from our Met Office. And we're providing tarpaulins, we're providing hygiene kits, cleaning kits, as early items going into these more vulnerable communities, blankets, to get them having these items at hand so they can bolster their other preparedness activities that they have been doing in terms of battening down, securing their homes. They'll have these resources immediately after the event to get quickly to start to recover, getting activities until, additional help comes to them.
And of course, people who are watching this right now, who are here on the island, they may be worried. They may not know what to do at this point. What's your message to them right now in terms of preparing and just trying to be as safe as possible when this storm finally makes landfall?
Sure. So the system is almost here. It's continued to move closer to us. So yes, it's moving slow, but of course, now is the time to do that final preparation. Making those last-minute checks around the home. If you have done your kits, your emergency kits, and you realize that there are a few items that you need to get, now is the time to get it. We don't want our residents to be on the streets tomorrow. According to the bulletins from our meteorological service, now is the time. Do those final preparations around the home, getting your roofs and your windows and doors secured, ensuring that you have all your items in your emergency kits, especially your medication, especially your non-perishable food items and water.
All right, Horace Glantz, Deputy Operations Manager for the Red Cross here in Jamaica. Thank you very much for this information. You got it. Andrew.
All right, Ike, for us on the ground there in Jamaica. Ike, thank you. Now let's get to Jeff for the latest forecast. Jeff, how strong is this hurricane expected to get, and what's the timing here look like?
Unfortunately, this could be on the cusp of a Category 5 within the next 24 to 48 hours, at least a high-end Category 4. It's over extremely warm waters right now. The wind shear that was kind of ripping the storm apart initially has relaxed, so that's going to allow the storm to intensify rapidly during the next day or two. And you almost couldn't conjure up a worst-case scenario for Jamaica. I mean, they're going to be getting battered by these rain bands for the next 24 to 48 hours, and then the actual core of the storm probably makes landfall sometime Monday night, early Tuesday morning, as again a strong Category 4 storm. People on Jamaica, some of them were around in 1988. They may remember Gilbert. This could rival Hurricane Gilbert, which caused a tremendous amount of devastation. This is going to be a very slow-moving catastrophe over Jamaica, portions of Haiti as well, and portions of eastern Cuba, portions of the Bahamas.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on a second. Let me roll that back for you a little bit. So if you think I'm joking, check this out. This is ABC News in New York. Let me go back a little bit and listen to what you're hearing right here. This could rival or topple what Hurricane Gilbert did. Here we go.
Night, early Tuesday morning, as again a strong Category 4 storm. People on Jamaica, some of them were around in 1988. They may remember Gilbert. This could rival Hurricane Gilbert, which caused a tremendous amount of devastation. This is going to be a very slow-moving catastrophe over Jamaica, portions of Haiti as well, and portions of eastern Cuba, portions of the Bahamas by the middle part of the week. But really, during the next 24 to 48 to 72 hours, it's all about Jamaica and western parts of Haiti. There's that hurricane warning that Ike was talking about in effect for Jamaica right now. In addition to the heavy rain and the strong wind, there will be a storm surge. And again, depending on where this makes landfall, if it makes landfall just west of the Kingston area, that will put Kingston on the stronger side of the storm where they get heavier rain, higher storm surge, higher winds. The rainfall amounts could be just monumental. We're looking at perhaps 15 to 25 inches of rain across the eastern half of Jamaica, western parts of Haiti as well. And Andrew, some of our models are indicating a couple of spots could receive up to 35 inches of rain. So you can only imagine the devastation, unfortunately, that this is going to be causing during the next few days. Big news story. Andrew will send it back over.
35 inches of rain. It's almost unheard of.
Yes, it really is. Yep.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
Sure.
Goodness
Eyes are on the
gracious
tropics as
me.
Hurricane Mellisa barrels towards Jamaica and Cuba.
And at least 3 people have already been killed in Haiti. And take a look. We're looking at cleanup in Kingston, Jamaica. Workers are clearing debris ahead of Melissa's impact. The country is expected to get nearly 20 inches of rain. The storm is slow moving, causing it to sit over these areas.
Uncle 10 has all you need to know. We have live team coverage on Hurricane Mellisa. Our Aaron Mabin is in Montego Bay right now.
But we begin with our Weather Authority meteorologist, Peter Sherwood, with our latest tropical update that just got into our newsroom. Peter, fill us in.
Listen, we are seeing some changes with the forecast here as we head through the next 24 hours going into the beginning of the work week. I want to show you this because as we take a look at the satellite and radar, we are seeing that this is now showing signs of that symmetric look. It is now a Category 1 hurricane, and it's going to continue to strengthen here especially as we head through the next 24 hours. Yes, moving slowly, just at 3 miles per hour to the west, sitting over that warm water where it does have the potential to get stronger, maximum sustained winds now at 90 miles per hour. And the latest advisory is in from the National Hurricane Center, and I want to show you the latest track here. You can see that it is expected to strengthen into a major hurricane, and not only that, a Category 5 hurricane with maximum sustained winds upwards of 160 miles per hour. Jamaica has never seen a Category 5 hurricane make landfall since record keeping. And when you look at history, Gilbert, that made landfall with maximum sustained winds at 130 miles per hour. And we know the destruction that it caused back in 1988. And as we continue to watch this storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was there in Gilbert in 1988, and it leveled the country of Jamaica. This, at that time, it was round about 130, 140 miles an hour wind. This is above that, starting at 150 miles an hour and up. I'm lost for words. Please protect yourself. Let's continue to listen.
Strengthen. We know that it is going to bring catastrophic flooding across the island of Jamaica. We can see hurricane warnings in place there. Check out Haiti. That's where we have tropical storm warnings in place. The storm is expected to make landfall at some point between Monday going into Tuesday as a Cat 5 and then weaken as it moves.
I wonder if you understand the magnitude of what's going on here. If you have ABC News, News 10, Fox News out of the United States on location for this once-in-a-lifetime historic event, please be prepared. Let's continue to listen.
Over the mountainous terrain. Keep in mind, another landfall possible across Cuba as we head into the beginning of next week. And then another landfall cannot be ruled out across the Bahamas, even Turks and Caicos, as a Cat 2. This is going to weaken as it tugs towards the north and northeast. Now, I do want to break down some of those impacts that will be felt across the Caribbean. Of course, watching Jamaica very closely. Tropical storm force conditions starting tonight, that heavy rainfall building in, and we are tracking upwards of 30 inches of rainfall. Isolated higher totals will be possible. Catastrophic flooding possible as well with landslides and hurricane force conditions moving in Sunday going into Monday. Haiti and the Dominican Republic watching that area as well with heavy rainfall upwards of 30 inches. Life-threatening flooding and landslides will be possible in that region as well. Coming up, we're going to take a closer look at our forecast here at home. I'm going to show you why Mellisa is expected to stay away from us here in South Florida. Jackie?
Peter, thank you. Well, our live team coverage continues with Local 10's Aaron Maben.
He's live in Montego Bay, Jamaica, with more on what he's seeing. And Aaron, how are residents preparing, and are you seeing some of those outer bands coming through as well? We can see some rain behind you there.
Yeah, guys, I got to tell you a story. Before Peter's weather, we had sunshine, and then as she went into weather, there was a gust of wind and the rain came coming down. I had to go to my backpack, put on my rain gear, put on my hat. Now we are prepared. This island is also preparing for Hurricane Mellisa. Listen, this is expected to be powerful and major, so they are bracing for it.
Do not gamble with Mellisa. It's not a safe bet.
A warning from Jamaican leaders as Hurricane Mellisa barrels closer to the island.
All of Jamaica will be impacted.
Record hot ocean waters are fueling the monster storm. And with every passing minute, the fears of damaging winds and life-threatening flooding grow closer to a reality.
Now is the time to be prepared.
And grocery stores across the island are busy as people stock up on essentials. Look at this bread aisle right here. It is basically empty as people get ready to ride out the storm.
And there's no bread. You heard the lady say it just went. So there's no bread.
The non-perishable items.
Jamaican officials say they are taking every precaution for what could be a historic rain event over the next several days. Minister Desmond McKenzie pushing for a mandatory evacuation in flood-prone and vulnerable areas.
Based on the extent of the system, do not remain in these communities during the passage of the hurricane.
Melissa's impacts have already triggered landslides and turned deadly in Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
My head is like, I hope it doesn't come to this side because I know the devastation that can come from it.
Anthony McLaughlin and his wife are visiting Montego Bay from Canada. Saturday morning, the government warned of closing airports. They're choosing to stay. What's your conversation with family in regards to safety?
I was telling her, stay away from the windows. Don't follow what everybody else does, want to take pictures. Stay wherever it's safe.
Back out here live just like that. The rain has gone away, but we still have some gustier conditions out here. We have seen at least one business boarding up and then putting sandbags just to protect things when the weather becomes a bit more, deteriorates, let's say a little bit more too. Big development now. We know that the airport in Kingston will be closing at 8 o'clock local time. So people are...
Ladies and gentlemen, if you go back to previous podcasts, right here at Naram Promotions, the Real Deal Podcast Show, we told you so days ago. I told you I had friends on the island who were visiting, and I told them to change their travel plans because this weekend is not a good look. And so said, so done. They're closing the airports. I said, if you're there on this weekend, you may be stuck on the island for a couple more weeks or more. We don't know. Jamaica has never seen a Category 5 hurricane. Jamaica has never seen a Category 5 hurricane in recorded history. I was there in Gilbert. Was nowhere close to what's going to happen now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be business as usual. It will not be normal. A lot of things are going to happen if you do not mitigate the risk by preparing. Make sure those who have the opportunity tomorrow in that very small window, and for what is left in resources, because a lot of people have eaten up a lot of the resources. Make sure you have fuel for your generators, candles, solar lights, your batteries are charged, food, secure them in a strong box, a waterproof box if necessary. This is a catastrophic event of immense proportions. When you have Channel 10 News out of New York, Fox News, and all other international medias, and myself, Naram Promotions, the Real Deal Podcast Show, talking to you. Take heed. I heard there were parties going on. Goodness gracious me. I don't know. Parties? You gotta save that money. You need the cash because the ATMs won't be working. Power will be gone. Debris will be blocking the roads. Roads will be cut off because of the immense amount of water that is going to be pummeled on the country. People in low-lying areas, please seek higher ground. Please. This is no joke. I'm not joking here. The amount of water over the net when it hits Sunday night, I mean tonight into Sunday, it started already, but the The major effects are going to come in Sunday into Monday and into Tuesday. It's going to meander around for days. It's going to drop a lot of water. So there's going to be a lot of flooding. Seek higher ground. All my family in Northern Clarendon, Roden Hall, Kellett's, Mackney, Mason River. Protect yourself. All across the country in Kingston, all from Morant Point to Negril Point, from north to south. Please protect yourselves. Naram Promotions Real Deal Podcast Show is here for you. And we'll keep the cameras open. Call in, please. Please call in. Send in your videos. Look down below. You can keep it on speed dial if you have the power. Don't do it if you have limited power or no way to charge your phone. You got to keep those phones charged for emergency purposes. Let's get your little radios. Get your batteries for those radios. Those AM, FM band radios, those small things. Or, if you have a big one, that's fine. But you need power to listen to what's going on. All those along the coastline, especially in Alligator Pond, from my area, please seek higher ground. All my friends in Alligator Pond, please seek higher ground. Get out of there. Protect yourselves. This is a catastrophic event of immense proportion that you've never seen before. It's historical, and don't get caught in the way, because a lot won't survive the flooding. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. Take heed. A lot of us are brave and say, yeah, we can ride this out. No. You've never seen anything like this before. Tell your friends. Those who think they can beat this, no. Seek higher ground. Hide, run from the water, hide from the wind. Go into a strong building, maybe one that's decked. I in previous podcasts, I told you about those containers that now are houses. You can have a house in a day. Those are going to be selling real quick after this hurricane. If your house gets knocked down, you can have a house for 1.9 million, 2.9 million. If the banks are open. It's going to be catastrophic. It's going to be historic. But we're here with you all the way through until it subsides. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be live tomorrow night again. And I'm waiting for my good friend Cutty Ranks. I call him Cutty Ranks. He's not the artist. It's just a nickname for him. Mr. Dane Boer out of Sea District in Manchester. Please find somewhere that you can get some internet connection and come on in so I can see what's going on, because it is a big deal. It is definitely a big deal. ladies and gentlemen, do not take the risk of trying to ride this out. Keep safe. We're waiting for Cutty Rags to come in live on Naran Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. It's going to be catastrophic. Power is going to go sometime soon. Communications may be down for weeks, maybe. Emergency services are not going to get to you easily. Resources are not going to get to you easily. And I know the Prime Minister of Jamaica is wondering what is going on here. He's doing the best he can to secure the people of Jamaica. And I want to hear from him. This was a day ago. 1 day ago, and I want to hear from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. I haven't put anything up here regarding the Prime Minister of Jamaica. So let's hear from him. 24 hours ago, this was what he was saying. Let's go.
And the message read, Prime Minister, we haven't seen you in all that have been said. Well, let me say it in this way. There is a government that is made up of ministers, heads of entities, permanent secretaries, various public officers and administrators, and they all must do their jobs. And my job at times is to ensure that they are all well coordinated and that they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yes, so sometimes you are leading from the front, and sometimes you are quarterbacking, as the Americans would say. But there is never an absence of leadership. And I'm certain that you would have seen on display the ministers taking responsibility for their various portfolios as it relates to preparedness for the approaching weather event. This is a good segue because during this administration, you would have seen the country at risk at several weather events and other kinds of threats, including a pandemic. And we have generally handled them all very well. I believe that our administration has managed crises very well and has ensured that we not only withstand the threats and the crises, but we recover and recover quickly and stronger than before. The weather events are becoming more frequent, but the frequency is also paralleled with greater intensity. So we're seeing more weather events which are more intense in nature. But we're also seeing these kinds of events overlapping. So you're seeing more weather events that are of increasing intensity, but before one is finished, another one is coming. So they are overlapping. So the administration has to have a standing policy and strategy to deal with crises that are more frequent, more intense, and overlapping. And that is why we have taken a very systematic approach to dealing with these issues. There is existing a legislative framework which guides how we respond to crises that we term disasters, and that is the Disaster Risk Management Act. and that is the framework within which we will operate. Certainly, there are constitutional provisions under emergency powers, but it is at this time not our intention to utilize those powers. We would have heard from ODPEM in our briefing session before this, and ODPEM will give us an assessment shortly as to whether or not the government should declare a disaster or a threat of a disaster. I think you know what will happen, that given the update from the Met Office that Jamaica is at risk, there is a threat of the weather event affecting us in a significant way. The latest report suggests that the eye of the hurricane would be the weather system. Still, it's not yet a hurricane. The system is about 220 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. It is still moving very slowly, and that has posed a difficulty for us in planning because you don't want to put your preemptive measures too early. People get frustrated and say it's not going to come, and then they go back to normal activity and then it comes. So we have been trying to calculate when to put in the preemptive measures. You would have seen that we gave an early preemptive measure yesterday by suspending schools, and today I believe it is at 2 p.m. that the public sector will be asked to go home. I suspect the private sector will follow suit. So we're really trying to gauge, and there is a reason why we have to be very careful in engaging. Beryl, when it hit Jamaica, cost us about $57 billion of our 2023 GDP. And it probably cost us about 0.5% in terms of a reduction in our GDP growth. So it will have an impact.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was 24 hours ago. I do believe that the Prime Minister is downplaying the immense or the catastrophic event that's about to hit Jamaica. I don't know if he's naive, or is it a case where he doesn't want to alarm the people of Jamaica? But what is real is what is to come. I don't know if you understand the magnitude of what is being projected. But I would, if I were in his shoe, I would tell it as it is. It's not looking good. Preparation is the key. That means you open every facet of the government to make sure you're ready now. There's no downplaying or trying to skirt this or trying to figure out the balance between opening the resources or trying to figure it out. This language does not sit well with me. What I'm listening for is, this is what we're going to do. Leadership is what I'm listening for. This is what we're doing now, because this is going to be a catastrophic event. I knew this days ago based on the meteorologists around the globe, the different models they were looking at. It gave you a heads up, and it gave you days, and in some cases weeks, to prepare. In your personal circumstance, it is necessary that you are prepared. And that's what I'm listening for, or listening to hear in a no unequivocal way from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. So let me continue to listen. This was 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, I was warning you. 48 hours ago, I was warning you. 36 hours ago, I was warning you. So I don't know what information that the Prime Minister had 24 hours ago, or why he's downplaying this in his conversation to the nation. This is Jamaica Information Service. Since then, or during his speech, Fox News landed on the island. News 10 out of New York. Many other major news outlets around the globe are already in position, and they are broadcasting live. So I don't know what this is all about. Is it inexperience? Or is there something else going on here that we don't know? I don't know. But I trust the government of Jamaica. Let's listen again and hear what's going on.
We don't want to exacerbate the impact by taking actions that will reduce commerce, reduce business too early. So it's a real guessing game, and it requires us meeting, analyzing, getting all the data so that we make the right decisions. So I know that there might be some frustration in the public, but bear with us, because we can't make any mistakes with the measures that we put in place.
Based on my information, that is, the hurricane is going to hit Sunday. Goodness gracious me. Why don't you say by 1 p.m. on Sunday, everything should be locked down, giving everyone the opportunity to do what they got to do, because you know what's happening. Information is out there on the World Wide Web. I'd urge businesses to open 24 hours to accommodate the many people that need the service. I'll direct my security forces to be on location to assist businesses, to assist the people, provide security. I'd be resolute in my decisions and be systematic in the execution. I don't know if you're seeing or hearing what I'm hearing here, but it doesn't seem as if he's with it. I don't know. There's nothing to smile about here. At the beginning of this, you saw the Prime Minister smiling. I'm not criticizing. I'm magnifying the magnitude of the dangerous situation that faces the country. And you gotta be, I'm emphasizing that you gotta be resolute in your decisions. You gotta assure the population that you're with it and you know what's going on. It's no if, ands, or buts. It's coming. So even if it turns, you should already have a plan in place if it hits. So those plans are based on the meteorological reports that are coming from around the world, from America, Asia, Europe, you name it. They have been on this for weeks. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not criticizing. I'm not accusing the Prime Minister of Jamaica. I would never do that. I'm just saying that from my observation, something is off. This is not the Andrew Honus I know. The Andrew Honus I know is resolute. But what's going on here? Something is off. Because if you're not being resolute 24 hours ago, when it was absolutely clear what's going on here, it's either it turns or it hits. But whatever, if it turns, it's still going to have an impact. So something is off, and I don't know what it is. Tell me in the comments section if I'm right or I am wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And I apologize if I'm reading this wrong, because I'm only human. But I'm reading something that does not sit well with me. How about you? Tell me in the comments section. Here we go. Let's listen again.
Under the Disaster Risk Management Act, when the orders are proclaimed, which we expect that we will do a declaration possibly the end of today or sometime early tomorrow, the act will give certain powers that the administration and the various entities that are vested with these powers will use for the protection.
I do believe those powers, or whatever act that needs to be implemented, should have been implemented 24 hours ago, before this speech. What do you think? Tell me in the comment section.
Of life and property. And we ask the public to cooperate. And you can be assured that before any of these measures are taken, there will be consultation with the stakeholders, and there will be adequate public notice so that everyone will know. We do ask for your cooperation. We will take one other measure, which is under the Trade Act, to prevent any price gouging that might take place. The Minister of Health guided you properly to say stick with, healthy foods that won't perish as a result of lack of refrigeration. And he did mention sardines and water crackers. But I saw a picture recently of shelves in our supermarket, and all the bread is gone. So people are taking precautions, stocking up on food. But it leads to a very important point, that as these products become scarce, there may be persons tempted to raise their prices. And we will not have that during a disaster. And
I do believe the smiles on Christopher Thompson's face and the Prime Minister's face would be wiped off in a few days. We pray to God that He'll spare the country the magnitude of the disaster that it is to come. It's not going to look good. Protect the children, the elderly, and yourselves. Pool your resources and your efforts to secure yourselves, because this is not a smiling event. There should be no smiles on the faces of those who represent you in government. In a situation like this, there should be instructions and leadership above all, for all, because they are working for the people. I do hope this display of, and let me leave the word out, I hope that the government of Jamaica is doing everything possible to secure the people of Jamaica. The people voted this government in. Hopefully, everything goes well. We're praying for the government of Jamaica. We're praying for the people of Jamaica. We're praying that everything goes well, that Jamaica will recover in record time. We pray that this hurricane will not create the damages that we are expecting, but it will be less, far less than we expect. We hope there's no loss of lives and no one taking unnecessary risks. And they are also prepared ahead of time, because we're out of time right now. Let's continue to listen to the Prime Minister, because I'm not feeling good based on the conversation he's having. This is not the Prime Minister I know. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, but he seems unsure of himself. And I hope that's not permutated in his decisions and his actions to protect the people of Jamaica and Jamaica in general. Let's continue to listen. Here we go.
For the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce will shortly reports from Minister Vaz, the JPS, and from Minister Samuda and the NWC, and from the utility companies, that they are projecting remain Muda has advised that %80 turbidity by closing off some already. Those storage areas are full, so they can control throughout the weather event. I'll make here meant
I've lost screen.
that special
Ladies and gentlemen, a lost connection for us. A few, you know, let's look at some of the comments. Big up, brother. Talk Church. Hardlin Pizza. Big up yourself. Every time. A lost connection. And I hope that we can get back to regular programming. Because now I got to figure things out. Let's see if we can get back to regular programming here. Here we go. Let's get back to regular programming and see if we can get back to where we left off. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, during Hurricane Beryl, the greatest impact would have been on residential roofs. And in flooding in areas that are flood prone, houses would have been destroyed by flooding. It's very difficult to gauge whether or not this weather event will parallel Beryl in terms of its impact. This weather system seems to be very unusual in that it is essentially sitting there southeast of Jamaica, creeping at 2 miles per hour, and its eye would have been doing some strange things, but it is what we have heard is that the wind force has increased from, I believe, 45 miles per hour to now 60 miles per hour, so it is strengthening. Whatever happens, the projection is that it will come closer to Jamaica, and we would be affected one way or the other by either rain and wind, or just rain. So whatever happens.
As you can see here, this was 24 hours ago. Let me kind of show you. This was 1 day ago. Let's get some more information on this podcast or this broadcast. It was sent over by Talk Scene Media. And this is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. 24 hours ago, I was warning you that this could be a Category 5. Today, all the models, as you can see here, this was broadcasted on October 24th. And this is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. That's why I don't like how he sounds here. Do you understand what I'm talking about? This is not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Really not a joke. Why would you say things like this? That it's uncertain when you should be taking precautions early. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong here. I'm not accusing the Prime Minister. I don't know what information he's looking at. Do you? I wonder if you are watching the same information I'm looking at. I don't know. Let's continue to listen.
There will be, we can safely say, there will be an impact. Something will happen.
Anyone thirsty? This aquatic disaster seems like an unmitigable disaster, but one...
Let's get back to regular programming.
The likely impact would be the rain event. And that would mean flooding, landslides. It would also mean that there could be some marooning of communities. Some communities could be cut off. And it would definitely mean a scoring of our already aged and struggling road infrastructure and possibly some impact on our bridges. It means, therefore, that households should take precautions in ensuring that whatever work they can do to their roofing to prevent leaks, they should do so. When we flew over the affected areas for Hurricane Beryl and we saw the roof damage, and then when we landed and saw the damage up front, what was clear is that the roofs that were damaged did not use the building code requirements in their construction. It is not too late to make adjustments and modifications to ensure that your roof is protected. The government will launch a very comprehensive humanitarian and recovery strategy after the event. But for that to work effectively, the beneficiaries, the people who would require support and assistance, must have identification. There is a view that because it is a disaster, all the rules are suspended. I hasten to advise everyone.
I wonder what happened to those people that would be flooded out and lose everything and lose their identification. Really? I don't know. Are you hearing what I'm hearing? Are you understanding what I'm understanding? Doesn't look good. But let's continue to listen.
Particularly the permanent secretaries, the heads of departments and the accounting officers and the ministers. There is no suspension of accountability rules.
So, if you lock the airport down, no one can come in because it's a disaster. And you have citizens who are suffering and possibly losing everything. You got to find an ID to get help, to get resources. Really? Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, is he with it? Is he here on planet Earth or in reality? Tell me in the comment section. This is a disaster on the horizon. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. And I'm seeing this from a different dimension. Maybe I'm looking at it from Mars. But I'll see in a few days if I'm right or am I wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll figure it out in a few days. I'm going to be here. This is Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. We're going to cover this event. I'm not going to listen to any more of this. Honestly, I'm not. It hurts my soul. I've been preaching for the last few days on many podcasts, coming free to you. I pay for it to broadcast it to you. That there's going to be a disaster in Jamaica. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let's see. It's coming. They need to secure their identification before the storm hits. Cherie, 8,000. Cherie. I don't know how old you are. I've been through Gilbert and many other hurricanes. Jamaica has never seen a Category 5. You know what a Category 5 is? I've seen it in Florida. It will be the first time, but they will survive. Really? You're naive. We only pray that they will. It's going to meander for 3 to 5 days, dropping historic amount of water of about 2 feet in every area of the island. Do you understand what it means, Cherie? You know about square footage? Okay, take the square footage of the island and you drop 2 feet of water on the entire length and breadth of Jamaica. Tell me what happens. Figure that one out while you're there. Figure it out. People in low-lying areas seek higher ground. 150 miles an hour wind, even just 100 miles an hour winds with 2 feet of water. It's not looking good. Cherie, welcome to Naran Promotions Real Deal Podcast Show. I praise your optimism, but look at the Weather Channel. Look at the projection of the what's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sign off in about 3 minutes. And we say thank you to each and every one who has been here. Let's check this out, Cherie. I've experienced a Cat 5 before. We manage. I'm worried about the landslides, etc., and the roads that will be washed out. Absolutely, Cherie. I agree with you. You have experienced a Category 5, so you should know. Can't predict what's going to happen in Jamaica because you've never experienced a Category 5 in Jamaica. I showed a video earlier of just a little bit of rainfall, especially in Kingston and other parishes. A little bit of rainfall for a couple of hours or less, and you have floodings. What do you think is going to happen when 3 days of rain, 150 miles an hour winds, storm surge of 5 to 10 feet? Talk to me. You think you've really experienced a Category 5? You sure about that? Because I don't think you're talking to me in real terms. Yeah, we all have to pray. Goodness gracious me, Cherie. We have to pray, but we have to be realistic. Start packing the barrel. Combine with a few people to send a container. That we are talking about. Because they're going to need it. Family and friends, roofs, houses. That's what we're talking about. We pray that it doesn't happen. But in reality, you call this number. We're gonna we didn't see Cutty come on live, but you know, call this number. Keep it on speed dial. It's down below. Keep it on speed dial. Send in your videos, call in live. We're going to be covering this event right through the next few days and maybe weeks. So, Cherie, God bless you. Welcome to the show. Like, share, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell. We're going to do all we can as people of that nation of Jamaica to assist Jamaica after this event, and we pray it doesn't hit. We can only pray it doesn't hit the way we're expecting. Things can change. We remain optimistic like Cherie 8000. God bless you. Thank you for being here. And we say, pray when you're going out, pray when you're coming in, and always remember, God is in control. We've got another comment. Blessings, Cherie. God bless you every time. Thank you for commenting and also praying for our Jamaican people. They need it. God bless you. And also to Huddling Pizza, God bless you. Start preparing to buy a lemon. Yeah, it's like that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Naram Promotions, the Real Deal Podcast Show. We'll be going live and the phone lines are open to you. Just remember, we're covering the catastrophic event of menacing Mellisa. Menacing Mellisa. Over the next few days, we'll determine, by Thursday of next week or Friday, we'll figure out what damages she has created. But menacing Mellisa is coming with a vengeance. We'll see you tomorrow on the live show. Thank you for being here. God bless you all. Pray when you're going out. Pray when you're coming in. And always remember, God is in control. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful thing to have you. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. Okay? God bless you. Naram Promotions is at you.